program, we were talking about Ayn Rand and how, if she had her way, there would be no Social Security, there would be no Medicare, although she went on both programs when she was eligible. Mitt Romney, by the way, apparently today is his 65th birthday, and he's eligible for Medicare, but he has just issued 7 questions to President Obama, each one that starts out with, why is President Obama trying to end Medicare as we know it, which, of course, is what all the Republicans in Congress voted for. And every single one of them has been debunked over at Center for American Progress's Think Progress site. But in any case, we were talking about Ayn Rand and objectivism and all this kind of stuff. And reason. Peter, is it Suderman, Peter? Peter? Suderman. Thank you very much. My apologies. Peter Suderman, the associate editor of Reason Magazine, is on the line with us. And, Peter, you think that, as Ayn Rand did, that there should not be government entitlements?
Well, what I certainly think is that the entitlement state as it exists is unsustainable, and that entitlements, in particular our health entitlements, which are the subject of a lot of discussion these days, and which seem to be in many ways more precious to people than Social Security. Certainly equally precious, but in a lot of ways more so. I think that our health entitlements don't actually provide the benefits that a lot of people seem to think they do. And so you have this combination of a budgetarily unsustainable program that is also not providing the big benefits that people seem to think it is.
So you think instead of Medicare, which operates on about a 1% overhead, we should be handing ourselves over to the tender mercies of people like Stephen J. Hemsley at United Healthcare, who's taking $400, $500, $600 million in compensation. That those kind of people are his predecessor and mentor, Dollar Bill McGuire, who took $1.7 billion as his personal paycheck from that company, which is the company that funds, by and large, AARP and other things, that we should simply turn ourselves over to them.
Well, a couple of points on that. The first is that Medicare's overhead is only much lower when you use government accounting. That doesn't count the additional costs because those.
How many corporate jets does Medicare have?
However,
how many? Wait a second. How many corporate jets does Medicare have?
I don't know. I haven't.
Try zero.
I would guess zero.
How many stockholders does Medicare have who take payments, who get dividend payments to the tune of hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars?
Well, here's the thing.
Zero. How many CEOs does Medicare have who make over $1 billion?
That anyone turn their money or their health over to any specific individuals or corporations. And so the flaws.
So you think we should all become Christian Scientists
with those corporations or those individuals? I'm not necessarily recommending that anyone have to turn their money over to them. What I'm saying is that people shouldn't have to turn their money over to Medicare.
So you're suggesting we should all become Christian Scientists?
Well, look, think about people think that it would just be totally unthinkable to live in a world without Medicare and Medicaid, but in fact we know what that world looks like. It looks like America in 1964, which whatever problems it may have had.
Right, and Medicare came along because so many elderly people were dying of diseases that were easily treatable, but they could not afford to treat them.
That has been produced by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. You find that while Medicare dramatically increased spending in the first 10 years of its existence, it did not decrease senior mortality at all. Medicaid has a similar. I don't believe it. This is what the Massachusetts.
You're telling me that giving people access to health care does not in their older years does not reduce mortality?
Fact,
I don't believe it.
We have basically no evidence.
It is not possible.
That Medicaid in particular.
Peter, can you please identify for me one country that has followed your libertarian advice to turn everything over to the corporations with regard to health care and have no government involvement in it? Other than, obviously, Somalia and Nigeria, but I mean any developed country.
So developed countries haven't taken that path, and they've had
actually all the developed countries have taken that path, and they've all rejected it.
You can't name. There is no developed country that doesn't have an entitlement state, and so it's hard to imagine what a world would look like without one.
1898, Germany.
It's totally true.
Germany started their national health care program in 1898. Look at Germany in 1897. People didn't like it. Now, every single one of these countries, you got the 34 OECD countries in the world, the fully developed countries, the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development. Of those 34 countries, there is only one, where it's not a felony to have to run a health insurance company that offers primary care on a for-profit basis, and that's the United States. Switzerland is the only one of the 34 OECD countries in which the government does not provide health care at all. But you have to, so there's a bunch of competing companies, but they're all not for profits, and they all operate heavily regulated. They all operate on overhead, well under 10%, most of them under 7%. And so the Swiss people are actually getting health care like we used to in the United States. I grew up in Michigan. Michigan required health insurance companies and hospitals in that state to be not for profit. And so, the first company I started in the 70s in Michigan, I was providing Blue Cross Blue Shield to all of my employees for $35 a month as the employer is what it cost me. And, you didn't go broke going to the hospital. Then Reagan came along, blew the doors out, and now we've got for-profit insurance in every state in the union, and the prices are going through the ceiling. The rest of the world is looking at us going, you guys are sick and twisted.
But if you look at our rates of cancer survival here in the United States, they're actually much better than in other countries. If you look at high-cost medical procedures, people getting them in the United States is actually a much better. You actually have much better medical outcomes in the United States, which is why people fly here.
Not if you're one of the 50 million people without health insurance. Not true. You find me a doctor who will take you in for heart surgery, and you got no money.
So it's funny that you bring up Switzerland because Switzerland has like you said, a fully privatized system of healthcare.
But it's totally not for profit, and it's the profit motive that I'm saying is totally corrupting this, and it's the profit motive that you and Ayn Rand and all the other objectivists and libertarians think is going to save us. The profit motive is destroying us when it comes to things that should be part of the public good.
Look at the very few places in the United States where you have something approaching a free market with a profit motive in healthcare, like LASIK eye surgery. It's gotten cheaper, it's gotten safer, it's gotten more accessible. What has happened?
I have three friends who went to Canada to get their LASIK eye surgery.
Amount of government intervention. It has gotten more expensive, more difficult for people to see doctors, and care, and the quality
thanks
of care.
Thanks to the for-profit system, yeah.
I mean, if you want to call the United States system a capitalist free market system,
it is not a free market system, and it's not even broadly capitalist.
Of the dollars that are spent in the United States are spent on healthcare are spent by the government roughly. Sometimes as low as 46, sometimes as high as 50, but it's roughly 50%, depending on how you make the calculation. The new health care law that was passed in 2010 is going to increase that. We have had 4.5 decades of massive government intervention in the health care market.
Well, Peter, just a quick question. What percentage of the GDP of the United States is government spending?
What percentage of GDP?
Right.
I do not know.
It's 21%.
Top of my yes.
Okay.
So it's
and I'm guessing that you probably recognize that number. Yeah, do you know what percentage of GDP is government spending in Canada?
It's in Canada and the Nordic countries. It's quite a bit higher.
54%.
Right. It's quite a bit higher.
And every other and the OECD average 48%. What are all these countries that have a good quality of life that beat us in all of the health ratings and quality of life ratings? What do they know that we don't know? Could it be that the profit motive in things that have to do with life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, or at least life, is not a good thing?
So one of the things that all of those countries have in common is that they have the advantage of the U.S. medical system, which is by far the most innovative medical system.
The U.S. medical system. Have you been in a hospital recently? The X-ray machines are made in Germany.
In fact, I spent the last couple of weeks going in and out of a hospital because due to a family.
Count the machines that are made in Germany, Peter. Count the machines that are made in Japan. You will find very few machines made in the United States in your hospital.
Japan and Germany.
No, I'm talking about machines from Siemens.
The United States, especially in terms of drugs, which are some of the most cost-effective.
More than half of our drugs are made offshore now, Peter.
But
anyhow,
where are they developed?
Peter Suderman in government-paid universities.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
More than half of R&D is paid for by the federal government through our university system. Peter Suderman, Reason.com. You can read all about it there. Thank you.